Now is Dr. Robert Robbins, the president of the University of Arizona, former CEO of Texas Medical Center. Dr. Robbins, thanks for being with us. So you're leaving the decision up to the teachers? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, Sarah, thanks for having me on your program. Students will be able to get on the website on Monday and find the course they're going to take, and then it's at the discretion of the professor as to whether it would be an in-person class, whether it would be in-person flex class, meaning some students would come into the class, say, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the others would be online Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they would flip-flop that. Then the third option would be a live online version, and the fourth would be, so that would be synchronous, and then the fourth would be our I-courses, which are asynchronous online.
I guess so the students would have to pay full tuition, correct? And also room and board and come to the dorms, but might not be able to actually attend classes? But why would they want to do that?
Well, that's a good question, Sarah. There are plenty that want to. We converted our 9,000 bed capacity of on-campus housing down to about 6,600. And we have full subscription, and people have paid their deposits, and we are anticipating that they're going to show up to live in our dorms. They've even said that even if we take our classes online, they want to live in our dorms and be in Tucson. I think that it's a combination of wanting to get back to have the opportunity to be on the campus and continue their education. So we're going with full tuition for those who choose to come to university in the fall.
So it is a little confusing, I have to say, Dr. Robbins. So people could come back, live in the dorms, but still be doing a class online, potentially not even live online.
Correct. But I think there's going to be a lot of flexibility, and I think there will be a mixture of both in-person and online classes. But again, the flex would be sort of rotating for face-to-face, and then the synchronous online would be they would. I
guess the odd thing, sorry, Dr. Robbins, is that if things are safe enough to allow people to come back to dorms and you're charging full rates, surely those students deserve full proper tuition, or it's not safe enough, in which case they shouldn't be coming back to the dorms.
Yeah, well, we're watching it closely. Obviously, we're in a hot spot. We think that with people following the rules of properly physically distancing and covering their face, washing their hands, we can flatten the curve and make it acceptable for students to come back. They've told us they want to come back, so we're going to take a very aggressive testing, tracing, and isolation protocol and offer these various options to students who choose to come and continue their education at University of Arizona.
How does the testing work, Dr. Robbins? How often and how will you ensure that you get enough tests and that those tests can come back quickly enough to actually keep people safe and quarantined until they do?
I think most of the audience knows we've pioneered an antibody test. That is something we've offered all of our students, faculty, and staff. The current protocol would have, and I changed on this because of the hotspot being in Arizona. We're hoping the curve is going to be flattened out, but we're now going to require all the students before they check into class, into their dorms, they must be tested. So we're going to use an antigen test that will turn around very quickly. If they're positive, then they won't be allowed to go in the dorms. We've made provisions for isolation dorms. They would go there and isolate, still be able to take their classes in an online version, but we'll use a protocol to test before they go into the dorms. And then we'll use wastewater-based epidemiology. We have an algorithm for surveillance testing throughout the year. Anybody who has symptoms will be tested with a standard PCR test.
Wanted to ask about three things that everybody thinks of with college, which pretty high contact, or at least would seem risky. Sororities, fraternities, and sports. How are you dealing with all that?
Yeah, well, the sports we're dealing with through the Pac-12, since we're a proud member of the Pac-12, and we're grinding on this every day and discussing how we're doing it. We've got some of our football team back here, and they are undergoing extensive testing right now. The fraternities actually are not in our campus-owned housing, but we're reaching out to them and engaging them, and we've had great discussions with them about the need to follow the rules. I think that's the most important thing. Our students realize if they wash their hands frequently, they cover their face, and they use physical distancing, we could get this down to a manageable level. So we've just got to have our students buy into following the rules. And so far, our fraternities and our sororities have cooperated greatly. So we're confident that they'll be responsible and be able to manage this. But we can't guarantee, of course, that there won't be any cases. Obviously, there will be cases. We just want to be able to mitigate, identify those cases, trace their contacts, and isolate them.